world over, companies and organizations are beginning to understand how important it is that you embrace the customer, not just as king or queen. Some countries actually take them as God. And that is how important customer management is, especially in driving your bottom line. Welcome to Business Matters, where business truly matters. My name is Stephen Ipalabo Lawson. Customers' complaints are quite wonderful channels by which we can understand how brands themselves will remain relevant and definitely be in the lead, especially when it comes to marketing and business. Let's take our business update.
Hey beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight. Now reading page 3. Experience unlimited superfast internet access from Entel 4G. Entel. Live more.
Business practices as well as policies and innovations definitely come from recognizing how important a customer is. Who is the reason why businesses exist? It's part of the essence of why you need an ombudsman to be able to drive some of the concerns that your customers bring forward. Let's have a professionals segment. Thank you for staying tuned on Business Matters, Nigeria's foremost platform where we discuss business and some of the best practices and ideas that can help you perform excellently in your business operations. We're here at the professional segment where we're exploring the topic, customers' complaint management. And joining me in the studio to do justice to that particular subject is no other person than the founder, CEO of Ruhaka Kaddish Training and Consultancy Limited. He's an international arbitrator, a soft skill trainer, a motivational speaker, an international award recipient from the Universal Peace Institute in South Africa. He's a chartered strategist who is a member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators in the UK as well as the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management here in Nigeria. A man who is very passionate about customer service as well as health. And that's no other person than the man I call the great thinker, Dr. UWEM Akangson. How are you, sir?
Thank you, Ipalibo. Thank you for having me on Business Matters. It's a pleasure.
It's a great honor.
Thank you.
The topic that we opted for is one that our viewers themselves have found very important because at the end of the day, it's all about the bottom line.
Correct.
How much are we going to put into our processes? How much are we going to integrate in our policies that can help us meet our customers' demands and needs, especially in the digital age?
Right.
And you see how it's going so far. Do you think that customer service or customer management in the digital age demands extra effort from what we've known from the conventional standard?
Well, it does. You know, we have this cliche that customer is king. Customer is always right. And we don't give that customer that kingship position that he deserves. He's the reason we're in business. But most times we put out our business and everything, we forget what the customer actually needs. What do I mean? Let's assume, because the customers go by several names. Take a football mondial, for example, let's say the World Cup finals. The players and everybody train, and they come out into the pitch. Can you imagine if the whole stadium was empty, nobody was seated there?
That's true.
Do you think the match will still go on?
None
The
at all.
players will think they're in the wrong place.
True.
Look at your banking industry, for example. If you open for business 5 days a week and no customer walks in, you will shut down. Take the shopping mall, for example, and people don't come in. Do you know that they are the same people, but we just call them different names?
That's true.
We call them spectators, even in the churches and in the mosques. No matter how well you prepare the sermon, if the pew is empty, You can't preach.
That's true.
So that's how important the customer is. But we always put the customer last when we're preparing our business plans. Here's how that comes to haunt us. Do you know that only 4% of customers come back to complain about bad services?
4%?
Only 4%. The other 96%, 91% of them, they never come back.
In terms of repeat?
They never come back to you, and you don't notice until your business starts to go down. Now, if you check the profile of customers, 68% of customers don't come back because of bad attitude from the businesses that we're putting out there. There's an unknown author who said, we are customers that never come back. There's a paradigm shift now. The customers don't even trouble you anymore. They just leave you and go to other people who prefer or give better services. For every time you offend or do something wrong to a customer, he tells 8 to 12 people.
Oh my. That's more like multi-level marketing.
Right.
But for the wrong.
Against you.
Okay.
And then it takes you almost 12 times more effort to get back that customer. Now, there's a blind spot in business. And that blind spot in business is, what do we do when the customers complain? You find out that most organizations have various departments. They have HR, they have legal, they have customer care and all of that. There is no department that they have put in place to handle customer complaints management. They saddle that responsibility on sometimes customer care. It's not their function. Sometimes they saddle it on legal. It's also not their function. There are people designated to handle customer complaints.
What are they called?
And those people are called the ombudsman, the customer's ombudsman.
Customer's ombudsman.
Because they are trained to know how to receive and handle customer complaints. Most organizations think that a customer complaint, they don't want to hear it, so they shut down the customer. Go to websites of international companies, even local companies. You will see that there is no channel for you to lodge complaints in most of them. The best you see is contact us. So a frustrated customer who wants to lodge a complaint doesn't know how.
That's true. That's true.
And so he takes his business somewhere else. And a lot of companies have crashed because they did almost all the industries. Telecoms. I'm sure you have a lot of complaints.
I do. As a matter of fact, to tell you, Dr. UWEM, I actually ported from one particular service
Network
provider
to the other
because the truth is this. We know technology, for example, within the digital age helps to drive a lot of these communications, which ought to be a two-way communication model.
Right.
However, what you seem to realize is that most customers end up talking to machines.
Correct.
We don't want to deal with machines.
Right.
We want that human element.
That touch.
That touch.
Yes.
You know, whether you want to call it emotional intelligence, whether you want to call it emotional quotient, whatever the word you want to target by, is important for us. So I keep wondering, if technology is helping us to be able to address some of these issues, why does it seem that a lot of us don't find it quite, comfortable to adopt that?
Because we don't ask for feedback from the customers. The customer is frustrated. Call a cable network, for example, to lodge a complaint. The customer care person is limited. At some point, all you keep hearing is, I'm sorry, sir.
Yes.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yes.
They don't have the skill or training to handle that complaint. And even when they escalate it, the person is also not wired to resolve complaint. That's why the docket in litigation in the courts are overflowing. That's why the litigation, because when a customer wants to vent, there is no channels
for him.
There is no avenue. So he takes it to third parties who are maybe friends and family to complain to them. And those people never use your services because of one person's experience. If they are so offended, they take it to the courts to get justice. Okay. So over the years, it actually started in Sweden. Sweden, they had a king called King Charles XII. He came back from war from Turkey, he was in exile in Turkey. And there was a deluge of complaints from the Swedish nationals. A lot of complaints. So he set up this body and called it, it's a Swedish word, said ombudsman. So complain to him. That's the meaning, ombudsman. That's the Swedish pronunciation. And so everybody channeled their complaint to the ombudsman. And after a while, he resolved all those complaints and fixed them. The beauty about complaint resolution is when you resolve one customer's complaint, you are resolving 50 or 100 customers that didn't come forward. And there is a learning curve in it. Do you know that in 1809, Sweden put that in their constitution?
Wow.
And 74 countries in the world adopted it. Look at the wealthiest countries in the world.
Is Nigeria one of those countries?
Nigeria is not one of them,
okay,
unfortunately. But we'll come, that's a talk for another day. We call it some other name, but it doesn't address the need of the customers.
We're going to go on break because we have to pay some bills. And as soon as we come back, this conversation is going to come up. Well, as you've heard, ombudsman all started off from Sweden. And a lot of countries have adopted that. But more of this insight on how this can help you drive profitability, especially when you are either an SME or a mid-sized company or even a large conglomerate. We're taking a break, and when we're back, Business Matters continues.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G. Entel. Live more.
If you're just joining us, this is Business Matters. Before we went on break, I was having a conversation with Dr. UWEM Akangson, who definitely is a lawyer, an arbitrator, an ombudsman. As a matter of fact, that is one word we're going to definitely adopt on this program, as well as exploring exactly how customer complaints management can help to drive profitability and build a brand that can benefit you at the end of the day. So, Dr. UWEM, just like we were saying earlier on,
yes.
Sweden, for example, adopted that and made that a national policy. And I can imagine that if you look at the wealthiest country, like you've mentioned, a lot of them have understood the place of an avenue where people can complain and vent. But in this part of the world, in Nigeria, for example, I mean, we're in Nigeria definitely. One of the major things that I discover is that the man who complains is seen as a nuisance.
Right.
And then the service provider feels that we're doing you a favor, providing you certain services, which I don't imagine should be the norm.
In Japan, they say the customer is God.
Wow. Not king.
God. Give him what he wants. Now, Gandhi said there's a reason for why we're in business. He's the one paying our bills. We just don't get it. This is how customer complaints help you make profit in your business. It's a blind spot in business, and I'll tell you how. Now, when you receive customer complaints, it falls into that 4% that comes. Remember I said it's a 4%.
Yes.
Now, when you address that complaint and you resolve it, you are not only resolving for those that didn't come forward to complain. What it does for you is that you use those statistics, the data you got from the complaint, as feedback. You're not going to see what the customer wants.
That, as a matter of fact, can be input for new products.
That's
or whatever
what I'm saying. That's what I'm coming
innovations.
to. So when you now look at it, you will now see customer preferences. I'll give you an example. A customer said, your form is too tiny. I can't read it. It's not very legible. Can you make it bolder so that I can read it? The organization took that feedback and improved on it. They had more customers.
Wow.
Because
just by addressing that.
Just by addressing that, because the other customers, when they tried to read it, they couldn't, they shove it aside. And they go to where they can read. Today you see cable TV in banking halls. Do you know how it came about?
No.
It was a customer who said to a bank, the queues are so long. That was before we had the ATMs. And if you had a cable TV that is showing CNN or something,
NTA,
or NTA, it can keep us engaged while you attend to us. So an ombudsman of the bank got that feedback and did a report to management, and it was approved. They now put TVs, they had more customers. Wow. And other banks followed suit. So it helps you improve on the products and goods and services that you have.
But how does it benefit, for example, a medium-sized enterprise? Because a lot of people might think for you to be able to institute an ombudsman in the system for a small business, it could be capital intensive.
Not necessarily.
Technology.
Now, there is an insecticide company that did not know that more than 30% of the product was spewing on the can when you spray. It was a customer that pointed out, when I spray this, it spills all over the can. They adapted and changed the can and made it more handy, and they had their customers that had left coming back. All it takes is for organization to appreciate that they have been saddling other departments with a job function that is not theirs. And so they can train somebody in the HR, they can train a lawyer, they can train a customer care person to become an ombudsman. So you are no longer intimidated by customer complaints. Rather, you welcome it because you now know the importance of the complaint to your organization.
Will you be worried about being overwhelmed by all of this?
No, because you would have several channels. Now you have a minimum of 7 channels of receiving complaint. You can receive a complaint by text message. You can receive by email, Twitter handle. What it does to your staff is that they know that there is somebody to complain to when they misbehave on their queue. You get that?
That's true.
So the customer knows that I don't have to come back to the HR or to the customer care to complain about shabby and shoddy services. There is somebody else who I can report to. I can write a letter, I can send an email, and the ombudsman is going to investigate it. Not just to resolve the complaint, but to ensure that it never happens again. So let me give you an example of the 24 banks in the country. One of them had an ombudsman, which was me.
Wow.
And the bank jumped.
I mean, you have a background in law as well.
Yes,
I mean, you're a qualified lawyer.
Right.
So.
The bank jumped from number 8 to number 3
Wow.
within 3 years.
Wow.
Because 4,350 complaints were resolved and closed in that period. Can you imagine
4,300 plus complaints
in 3 years? So imagine that got out there, or that there was no channel to resolve those complaints. Where would it be? So it endears you more to your customers. It brings them closer to you.
So is there an emotional link that, I mean, having an ombudsman in your system is seeking to actually leverage on?
It's not an emotion, it's just somebody who creates a balance.
Okay.
It's somebody an ombudsman is a person who mediates fair settlement to resolve complaint, disputes, and conflict. You get that? So when you know that there is somebody in an organization that is going to be fair to listen to you and to resolve it, sometimes you can give a customer a compensation.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just to say, we're sorry, we erred.
Yes,
and that's
true.
what the customer wants to hear.
It's interesting you actually mentioned this. A lot of people don't realize that the people who even complain are even doing you more of a favor or of a service. Because they're telling you we have an expectation of your... There's a bank which I have a challenge with. You do a lot in terms of your advertisements. It's amazing. Your colors are everywhere. And then I come into the bank. What I see on the advert
is different.
It's different from what I'm experiencing on ground, and that basically just knocks me off. And I look for the service elsewhere.
Exactly, because there was no avenue for you to make that expression. I walked into a bank, I received some inflow, I needed to change it, MoneyGram, right? And they gave me a seat to sit, and I sat down there for 1 hour.
Wonderful.
And nobody came back to me. I walked out quietly and nobody said
noticed.
anything. I went to another bank down the road and I did that transaction. Now, if anybody wants to go to Bank A, right, you're shaking your head.
No way.
But that bank did not know that I had walked out. And that bank did not know that anybody that wants to go there for that service, I'm going to say no.
And especially as an influencer yourself, the impact, because they feel maybe they are too big to fail.
So this is the thing.
Even with the telecoms or service providers, it's
so what the customer care person does is to defend their brand.
True.
To defend their products and services. You don't expect to complain to a customer care person that this product is faulty and he says yes.
Yes, that's true.
But an ombudsman is trained to be able to admit where the company has erred. And that's what you want to hear.
Yes.
Somebody who can assuage your hurt. Sometimes you can have lost a lot of money in the course of a transaction.
That's true.
But the lawyers will say, go to court, we'll meet you in court. But that's not what an ombudsman says. An ombudsman knows that that negative publicity out there, it's not
the
good.
impact on your bottom line.
It's not good for the company.
Now, on Business Matters, you'll be amazed how time flies. So I'm just going to give you a few minutes to, in your own way, speak to the different businesses out there, what they need to be able to take up, and then I'll come back to you.
Okay. Well, because it's a blind spot in business, you can train your customer care and certify them to become a customer's ombudsman. If you put this in place, your complaints will go down drastically and your customers will be happier for it. Don't run away from complaints. It's the only way you can impress your customer.
As usual, I want to say a big thank you, Dr. UWEM, for being our guest here. On Business Matters, I think we ourselves are our own ombudsman.
Right.
We definitely make sure that we listen to the customer, which, as a matter of fact, you are our #1 customer. Whatever you think you want to see on Business Matters, you can reach us on all our different social media handles. And definitely you can reach us also by email or phone call. And you can be rest assured that just as we've had Dr. UWEM here, it is a response to one of your requests. I want to say a big thank you for staying tuned on Business Matters. Business Matter continues after this moment.
Business Matters. Let's talk business. Business Matters. Business Matters. Let's talk business. Business Matters.
Investment in customers' relationship management is not a wasted venture. The customer is indeed king, and how important it is that we take them as such will help us become not just champions, but leaders in our different industries, and will certainly have ourselves smiling to the bank at the end of the day. Customer service, excellent ones, will definitely impact on the bottom line in a way that will not just be positive, it will definitely endear your brand to the customers. This is so much we can bring to you on Business Matters. Please do follow us on all our different social media platforms. I remain Stephen Ipadabo Lawson until I come your way again. Bye for now.